guys. This is your girl Lilium here, and welcome to a new video. This time I wanted to address something that is kind of important to a lot of people, and figuring out who they are and what they like, what they don't like. I've had to go through the same things myself, and that is why, as you've already read from the title, this video is going to be about sexuality. I can only speak from personal experience when addressing sexuality, simply because it can be quite confusing for many people, girls and guys. So if you're sitting here watching my video and you're like, I don't know if I like girls, if I like guys, if I like both, then I hope you can find maybe a little bit of enlightenment in this video, as well as emotional support. I'm basically going to tell you a little bit about how I've been through my life regarding to my sexuality, and how I know what I'm into now. It has been a really long road, but I really feel like I've come to terms with it, and I love and accept myself for who I am, and so does my family and my partner and my friends. So starting out, which is like my very early memory of this, is all the way back to kindergarten or preschool, when I remembered that I could look at boys and find them interesting to play with, not in a sexual way at this point. But I do remember feeling like girls and boys were equally interesting to me. Later on, when I kind of got into my puberty or pre-puberty kind of, just around that time where you're like, 12, 13-ish, I started noticing that I found girls very intriguing, if not more intriguing than boys. At that point in life, boys are kind of, if they like you, they pick on you. And girls were kind of like a lot easier for me to interact with, at least at that point in my life. So I felt, I hung around with girls a lot, whereas later in life I would be hanging out almost exclusively with boys. So that was kind of a shift. But when I was in like this youth club when I was younger, and I would surround myself with a lot of girls, I don't know why, but they kind of made me shy and giggly, and I was kind of not uncomfortable around them, but very tense, and I was very aware of myself and how I looked, how I presented myself to them. So in that sense, I felt kind of alien, because I didn't feel like a girl because I felt like that. And also in the same regards to boys, I could also be very self-conscious around boys and feel like I didn't belong with them either. So I've always felt kind of alien when it comes to girls and boys and where the hell do I belong. I've never really felt 100% part of either girl groups or guy groups. I've always felt like the odd one out, the black sheep in the midst, and that's something I've also come to love and accept with myself, is that I will probably always feel this way, but it's okay, and I'm able to objectify things a bit more in that sense, and I'm grateful for that. But back to the youth club, where I remember I would like come in there, and I would just have gotten off from school, and I saw some of my friends' jackets hanging on the hangers in the wardrobe, and I would like go off to their jackets and like smell their jackets, because I thought they smelled good. They had a natural good body odor that I think attract is too big a word, but that I was drawn to in a sense, and I thought it smelled really good, and it kind of made my head go all fuzzy and weird and warm. So already at that point, I had my doubts whether I was strictly straight, or I was also into girls. At that point, I didn't have any real experience with being with a woman or being with a girl. So as I got older and I got into my teens, I naturally started experimenting when I was out and about and had a few drinks, and you have a bit more courage, and I started to kind of talk to girls in a different way, and trying to figure out if I could actually, if I was actually, appealing to other girls. And I would kiss with a lot of girls when I was out and stuff, but I kind of wanted to date them, and girls and kissing when you're out is kind of like, it's no big deal really. Girls just have a good time, and it's, not frowned upon when girls do that stuff out and about. It's just how it is. So many of them didn't really take me seriously, and so that was kind of like, put things on hold. And at the same time, I was starting to get a lot of attention from boys, and naturally I started dating boys, and I had experience from that. And as I got older, I, really wanted to know, okay, what's it like to be with a woman? And I could never let it go, even if it has been so many years and I didn't really pursue females in the same way. I always had that urge kind of to go back to women, and it was a different, feeling being with a woman than it was to be with a man. So I always naturally found myself floating back to females, and once in a while when I was single and whatnot, I would kind of like get into these relationships, kind of, not really relationships, but I would start to pursue women again, and then I would typically find a new partner which was typically male, and I would do that kind of, back and forth thing. Time went on, and I kind of I had my first experience with a woman, and then I felt more confident, and eventually I ended up in a relationship with a woman, and that led me to believe, okay, now I'm with a woman, and I'm attracted to women, and I like being with them sexually. So does that mean I'm gay? Like, because I've been with boys before, so I can't be gay. And that was really confusing to me for a long time, going back and forth saying I'm gay and then I'm not. And I still found myself attracted to boys, even if I tried to shut it out for a while, just to see if my attraction to boys was just because it was a comfort, in a sense, that I knew I would be loved back. I knew they would find me attractive back. And maybe it wasn't in the same case with women, but naturally, if you're a straight guy and you meet a bunch of straight girls, you're not automatically going to be attracted to all of them. And that was kind of the same thing I started to think about, okay, even if there are a bunch of gay girls and stuff, it doesn't mean that just because, I'm gay, or that I thought I was gay, was naturally going to draw them to me. I had a lot of time to think about that and come to terms with, like, okay, what am I? And I just found out that I'm very sexually fluid. And even the prospect, like, I really toyed with this prospect for a long time, and say, okay, but what if it isn't the gender that attracts me? What if it's the person I meet, the person I talk to, their spirits, their energy that I'm attracted to? And that has led me to the conclusion this day to day that I am pansexual. I know many people typically don't like to put themselves in boxes, and I don't tend to be a big fan of boxes, but I kind of like to have a rough idea of how I am and who I am and stuff like that. It's like a personal thing for me. But pansexuality is basically that you are attracted to the person's personality and their energy, and not necessarily, or not at all actually, what is between their legs or on their chest, or what is not on their chest. That also includes that you can be attracted to transsexuals, to she-males, to you know, basically all types of genders and all types of people regarding skin color, race, religion, or whatever it might be, is that you see kind of past the outer shell, and when you have a connection with someone, then you automatically become attracted to them. I won't lie and say that looks have nothing to do with it, because it also has something to do with it. But you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I've sometimes met people who I didn't think were pretty or, you know, necessarily crazy attractive to start out with. But as I talked more and more to them and connected, and we had some laughs and we shared so many common interests, they became insanely attractive to me. And that's kind of what I mean when I say that I am within the pansexual realm when it comes to that. But for you watching, and if you're, you know, in doubt about your sexuality, I just say, if you have some free room to kind of experiment a bit in safe surroundings, I suggest that you try and see what it's all about, and maybe try new things to get to know yourself better, because we don't get to know ourselves better if we don't explore, both out and about and in the bedroom. And don't worry if you don't have you know, any final labels for yourself. I think that sexual attraction and attraction in general is very fluid, and there's a lot of different kind of attractions and sexual attractions. So try not to stress yourself out about if you don't know where you are and it's so confusing and everything. Go with what your heart tells you and take it from there. Take a deep breath and do what you feel like. But that is all for this video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that like button. I really appreciate it. And subscribe for more awesome content. If you have any ideas for what kind of videos you'd like me to make in the future besides hauls and stuff like that, just let me know, and maybe I can do different topics that I can address and give you guys some advice. Take care until I see you next time, guys, and have a lovely day. Mwah. Bye bye.